I am so sorry. 7 minutes. Oh man. I don't know if anybody is going to tune in because I am behind the 8 ball here. Oh, that ain't gonna work. Oh. Well, somebody tuned in. Sorry about that. Was editing videos and ran to get some water, and my brain was in another dimension. So my apologies for being a few minutes late. Hope you guys are doing well. Yeah, we are in the Bible in Mark. I don't even have it up yet. I literally sat down. I was like, oh my goodness, what time is it? It is late. So let me get this pulled up for you guys real quick. How's life? Let me know in the chat. How you guys been? Mark or Bible Hub. Hey guys, one cool website. If you ever are just looking for like a good website to look at the Bible, Bible Hub is actually one of my favorites. I know there's a lot out there, but Bible Hub, yeah, it's just really easy. I feel like to navigate. You get a lot of different versions where you can just click very quickly. It has some different kinds of commentaries and stuff is available as well. A whole like Greek, Hebrew, interlinear thing. That's a little advanced, but down the road or even now, if you want to look at it, it's kind of cool. So you can see, like what the verse was in the original language and specific words. You can click on it and see, how those words are translated or where else those words are found in scripture. So sorry, quick Bible Hub plug for you guys there. Let me see. So today we are in Mark. Actually, are we in Mark 4? Or are we still in Mark 3? Mark 3 still. Yep, verse 31. So we are in Mark 3:31. Oh man. You Harringtons, you guys get the Faithful Award. I always like seeing you guys tune in. It's pretty awesome. All right, well, let's get into the passage of scripture. So it's Mark 3, verse 31. I'm just going to put it here in the chat so you guys know. 3. (31) through 35. There we go. Hey, and I know you guys are going to ask your dad what Sons of Thunder was all about. So if you heard back, you should have him. You should let me know what he said. I'm curious. It's a good guy. All right, let's see. So back to the passage. So it said, Mark 3:31, and his mother and his brothers came, and standing outside, they sent to him and called him. And a crowd was sitting around him, and they said to him, your mother and your brothers are outside seeking you. And he answered them, who are my mother and my brothers? And looking around at those who sat with him, he said, here are my mother and my brothers. For whoever does the will of God, he is my brother and sister and mother. Ooh, that's a fun one. That's a fun one. Here, let me grab my my quick commentary here. So we have in this passage, Jesus is kind of put in a fun position. He's in the crowd. He's talking. He's teaching. He's preaching. And then all of a sudden he hears that his mom and his brothers are kind of outside wanting to talk to him. Now I don't know. Like I said, this isn't me researching. They're called the Sons of Thunder because of their personality. Yeah, I think that's probably true. Sorry, Sons of Thunder because of their personality. I think that's probably true as well. Good stuff. All right, so I know it was in chapter 3, earlier in chapter 3, that his family had mentioned they thought that he was kind of like out of his mind, I believe. Let's see where that was. He looked around and stretched out your hand. 12 apostles. And he went, oh yeah. So in verse 20 of chapter 3, it says, then he went home, and the crowd gathered again, so they could not even eat. And when his family heard it, they went out to seize him, for they were saying he is out of his mind. So there's, it's really interesting. Um, there is this, there's this interesting relationship with Jesus and his family, and so at one point, he's not eating and his family's concerned. So they're trying to get him out of the crowd to feed him. And then here he is in a crowd again, and they are trying to get a hold of him. And he makes this statement, who are my mother and my brothers? And looking about those who sat around him, he said, here are my mother and my brothers. For whoever does the will of God, he is my brother and sister and mother. And so obviously he's saying, like, these people who are wanting to have a life with and follow God, and so they're listening to Jesus' teaching, they're following God's will. So they are effectively his family. They're part of the family of God, and so he's making that pretty clear. Let me see real fast what it says in this commentary real quick. So Mark, because I'm kind of curious as well. Matthew, Mark, Jesus, Moses, and brothers. Okay. So it says in this thing, it says, those who follow Jesus are the true family of God. Whoever does the will of God, he is my brother and my sister. That's all they got. But yeah, I mean, it's hard, like I said, I don't want to say things that are untrue, but one of the things that I really try to do when I read scripture is think about obviously the whole context, and so like I mentioned, earlier in this passage, we know Jesus is having this moment with his family, being concerned about him and trying to remove him from ministry. And then in this situation, they're trying to engage with him again. And I don't know, like I said, this is kind of speculation, but I do wonder if there was this, I don't want to say conflict, but we'll say conflict, so sometimes when kids are starting to stretch their wings, the more you guys get older and you start to have more responsibility and start to do things on your own, sometimes parents aren't the best at letting you flap your wings. They want to kind of not control you, but they want to help and they want to get involved and they want to be super like hands-on, and I wonder if maybe that is some of the situation that you have going on here. And so Jesus, in a very Jesus way, basically makes a statement to kind of help them understand what's happening in his life. So he's saying, listen, yes, you're my mother, my brothers, but really all these people who are seeking and following, these are the people that I care for. These are my family too, and I want to care for them. And so I think Jesus in some ways was trying to encourage the people around him that they were part of his family, but also let his family know that this is what he's supposed to be doing. Like, this is the ministry that he's supposed to be doing. And I think even, it's in Luke. So the story of Jesus, let me pull it up real quick, where Jesus goes to the temple, as a kid, and where is it? Okay, I think it's in Luke 2, maybe Luke 2, maybe Luke 3. Yeah, Luke 2. So this is kind of a similar situation here. So in Luke 2:41, it says, now his parents went to Jerusalem every year at the feast of the Passover. And when he was 12 years old, they went up according to custom. And when the feast was ended, as they were returning, the boy Jesus stayed behind in Jerusalem. His parents did not know it, but supposing him to be in the group, they went a day's journey. But then they began to search for him among their relatives and acquaintances. And when they did not find him, they returned to Jerusalem searching for him. After 3 days, they found him in the temple. This dude was, I don't remember that. After 3 days, they found him. He was like living on his own as a 12-year-old for 3 days. That's crazy. I don't know if that's 3 days after they went back to find him, or after the 1 day that they waited, or if it was 3 days total, but sitting among the teachers. So after 3 days, they found him in the temple. This is Luke 2:46. And 3 days they found him in the temple, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. Verse 47, all who heard him were amazed at his understanding his answers. And when his parents saw him, they were astonished. And his mother said to him, son, why have you treated us so? Behold, your father and I have been searching for you in great distress. And he said to them, why were you looking for me? Did you not know that I must be in my father's house? And they did not understand what he had spoken to them. And he went with them and came to Nazareth and was submissive to them. And his mother treasured up all these things in her heart. And Jesus increased in wisdom and in stature and in favor with God and man. So, this is another, see, like I said, this is just kind of my own personal, understanding, but I do think, contextually there's some concreteness to this, but I really believe that in that moment, because Jesus was beginning his ministry, because his family was concerned for him, they didn't understand it still what was exactly happening. Just like in this passage, they didn't get what Jesus was up to. Like, they probably thought he was out playing around with some other kids or something. And instead, he is literally in the temple with the other priests, teaching them about what the law is about, And so Jesus always had this very missional, very purposed, like, idea. Like, he was always about his Father's business. And so I think even in this passage in Mark 3, Jesus is continuing to just encourage and set the expectation for his family. Like, listen, this is my time. Like, now I have to care for these people. These are my mother. This is my mother. This is my brothers. These are my sisters. This is my family. And God sent me here to minister to them at this time. So, yeah. So Jesus, man, awesome guy. Like, just amazing. Awesome God. Awesome man. Oh, I was supposed to talk about Good Friday today. You guys should have said something in the chat. All right. Well, let's look at it real quick. Today's Good Friday. Man. Look at me, not super remember. Well, let's just go Mark. Let's see what it says in Mark. I'll go quick. What do you guys think about that, though? Jesus' statement about it, the crowd being his mothers and brothers and sisters. Mark, let's see, try 16. Too far. Mark 15. Mark 14. Yeah, a lot goes on. Yeah, sorry. I was going to do Good Friday, and then I spaced on it. But anyways, today is a good day to remember what Jesus did for us. I would encourage you guys. Mark 15 is good. It kind of starts basically with the trial and goes directly to him being mocked and then crucified, And I think, honestly, today, Jesus was always about, like I said, about his parents' business, or about his Father's business, faithful, all the way to the end. Says that because we were all from Adam and Eve. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading your comment. Elaborate more. Jesus says that because we were all from Adam and Eve. It's a good, interesting perspective. I wish you could talk instead of have to type, but it's good practice for your typing skills. Is that something you read somewhere, or is that what you were thinking? Just curious. I think I have another study Bible. Coming back. Thinking. Oh, okay. These are my sisters and my brothers. Okay. The Bible says that Jesus is the second Adam, but he lived out God's plan fully in that he didn't sin and he was obedient. I like that. I like it. Let me see. I'm going to look at this one more commentary since we're still here. Mark chapter 3. Mark chapter 3. All right. Let's see. Whoa, interesting. This Bible, this commentary just says, whoever does God's will, membership in God's spiritual family, evidenced by obedience to him, is more important than membership in our own families. Which is true. I mean, it's true, but it is still kind of hard to swallow, how important it is for us to be, ooh, that's a heavy Bible, how important it is for us to be connected to our spiritual family than even our physical. I mean, that doesn't give us an excuse to not obey our parents. The Bible tells us to still obey our our parents. But yeah. Well, like I said, remembering Good Friday, remembering what Jesus did for us. He was faithful to the end, and that's something to be thinking about today as well. So, anyway, I appreciate you guys. This is a little bit longer, which is fun, but it's also started later. So, my apologies. But hey, I really appreciate you guys. It's a pleasure every day getting to tune in and chat with you guys, and hopefully we're learning, we're growing, we're stretching, we're challenging ourselves to think, a little bit more about Jesus today than we did the day before. So appreciate you guys. I will catch up with you on Sunday. Don't forget, we are having service Sunday at 4. Be there. It'll be awesome. Hey, before I go though, what video was it you guys watched? What video was it that you guys watched? And is it kid appropriate? Because I've been thinking about trying to do something special with my family as well. What movie was it you guys watched? Or video? It's kids appropriate. All right, that's good. You guys see my top shelf? I need to clean it a little bit. So we sent some care packages to some of my family members. So I bought the what is that called? This concession pack of candy bars. Oh, Superbook. Oh yeah, I've seen that. It's on Netflix. Okay, I'll check it out. Very cool. Very cool. Well, thank you guys again for tuning in. Thanks for chatting. It's more fun when you chat, so I appreciate that and sharing your thoughts. We all are from Adam and Eve, which I think that's an extra, good reminder of that Jesus was the fulfillment of God's plan. Even from the beginning, where He said that the seed of Eve will crush the serpent's head. Let me see where that's at. Genesis 3:15. Let's see. Sorry, we're like quick segue. Genesis 3:15 NIV. And I'll put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers, and he will crush your head, and you will strike his heel. Yeah, good stuff. Saddleback Kids. Oh, Saddleback Kids. Okay. Good stuff, good stuff. Well, hey, I will let you guys go, though. I appreciate you all tuning in. Once again, that's my final sign off. I will see ya Sunday. Don't miss it.